Hey guys, what's up? It's KzFox here. Today we're gonna do a tier list for all the mid laners in the current patch. Most of the heroes that we're gonna cover today will be mages, but that also include one marksman, Elsu. He's sometimes played in mid lane in ranked game during ranked game, even after his damage nerf on his snipe. Now, as you can see on the tier list, I'm going to give you all the rankings that I have in mind first, and then I'm going to explain in details why do I rank them the way I do, and give you some insights on one and each hero. So we have the S tier, which include Toulon, Lydiana, and Raz. These are, I think, the big three mage hero right now that are very strong in mid lane, and they should be picked most of the time when you play ranked games. And then it comes to the A tier, which include Flash, Sephora, Kali, Illumia, Natalia, and Elsu. They are good in some perspective, but they're not as effective as the tier S tier heroes. And then you have your B tier, Darcy, Jinnar, Crixie, Alistair, Dao Chan, Gilda. Now, some people might ask, why would you put Darcy in the B tier? He's quite an overpowered hero. I will explain that later. It's just now I put him in the B tier list, in the B tier, and I think the B tier are not as strong as the A tier or S tier. They can still be picked now, and then it goes to the F tier. You barely gonna see people playing these heroes in your ranked game just because they're not quite strong in the current patch. Now let's go into each one hero, and I'm going to explain one hero by one hero, like why are they strong, why they should be in their tier. Now let's talk about S tier heroes that include Toulon, Lydiana, Raz, and I think they have their particular ranking. That is, Toulon is better than Lydiana in solo queue in ranked games, and Lydiana is better than Raz just because I think Lydiana is a little bit easier to play because Raz relies on timing to go into the fight very closely, very strictly. So now let's first get to Toulon. Toulon has a great wave clear. I think he has one of the best wave clearing out of all the mages in the game. That gives him a faster rotation speed than the enemy mid laner. You can just clear your wave and then rotate to side lanes to pressure side lanes or just to press the enemy jungle, evade the enemy jungle with your jungler. And he, I think, has the highest damage in the current patch. Just because of his full kit. If you guys don't know how to do the highest damage on Toulon, you're welcome to check out my other Toulon videos. I've been making a lot of Toulon videos just because he's that overpowered in the damage department, and he has 3 dashes that can make sure that he can play aggressive and play defensively when needed. He can use those dashes to go into the team fight, and he can use those dashes to escape from a dangerous situation, and he can use those dashes to make an outplay against your opponent. And he has the one and only ultimate that can reset cooldown on kills out of all the mage criteria in the mage category. Now, if you want to say Yura maybe have the same passive, but that is only 25% cooldown reduction on kills or assist. On Yura, Toulon has nearly 80%. So Toulon first level of ultimate has 80%, and then in the late game when you have some cooldown reduction from your gear, from your equipment, the ultimate will just pretty much be reset once you get a kill. So, and then we have Lydiana. Lydiana, I think it's really great for a pick 2 as well, just because she can outrange most of the mid laners with her kit, with her S1 and S2, and she can do insane amount of damage. The percentage of maximum health from her S1 passive, when you hit 2 people with her first skill, she can have the passive that can do maximum percentage health, which is very good. Give her insane amount of burst even against tanks. And she has good escape. She has good iframes from her ultimate. When you use your ultimate, you're invincible during that 0.5 second or so, which gives her a quite good survivability in your gameplay. But one bad thing about her is that her skills have quite long cooldowns. but I think that can be compensated by building flashy boots, which is going to give you 15% of cooldown reduction during your game, which is going to help you with that long cooldowns, so that she doesn't have to just stand outside of the team fight and watch your teammate fighting when you have to, just wait for your cooldowns. Flashy boots can help with that quite well. Then we're gonna have Raz over here. Raz is very great for poking with his second ability, and he has the solo kill ability. He pretty much can kill any backline hero, marksman, enemy mid laner, or even tanks, or even Malak, tanks like Malak. He has that solo kill ability. Once you hit your full combo, you can stick to your target and you can just burst them down. Which gives him a very good zoning ability. When your teammate is trying to take tower, you can actually stand on the side, position yourself on the side, and then try to use your fireball to zone the enemy away from the tower, so your teammate have an easier time to take the tower. But or I guess the difficult part of playing Raz is that you have to pick your timing to go into a team fight very carefully, because if you go into a team fight, use your ultimate to go into a team fight, you only have flicker to jump away from the team fight, and or you just get bursted out by the AoE skills by the enemy team. So the timing is very important. The way the position of yourself in the team fight is very, very important. The reason now it comes to the conclusion that the reason I put the 3 mages in the S tier is because that all 3 mages over here, they all have this solo kill ability. They all can camp in a bush and surprise your enemy, and jump out, surprise your enemy, and they kill them with your full combo, with one combo. So which makes them very, very powerful in gaining vision on the river bush, inside the river. They can go into the river and check whether they get the vision for your teammate. That is very helpful during a ranked game, during your game. That ensures your team get a better map control that way. So all these 3 mages, they will always stay here. Even if they nerf the damage on the 3 heroes. Toulon just got a recent nerf for his passive damage, but that didn't really change anything. The nerf didn't really change his overall damage throughout the whole game, so he is still the best mage in my mind, in the mage category. So now we're gonna go into the A tier, guys. We're gonna go into the A tier, that these mages can still be played, but just not as often. They shouldn't be picked as often. Now let's talk about the A tier mage heroes over here. We have Flash. I think Flash is very, very strong just because he has a great base stats. He has 400 movement speed without any boost. He counts with 400 movement speed, and he has a great base HP compared to other mages, which makes him very tanky in the early game. It's just very effective in the current patch to dive in the backline and to kill the marksman without any movement skills. If they don't have flicker, in that case you can just use your flash to jump in and then do your full combo and then kill their backline easily. But a bad thing about him is that his skills are having quite long cooldowns in early game, and like extending all the way to mid game. And once you have couple cooldown reduction item, he can be very strong. And the timing, he's similar to Raz. The timing of you go into a team fight is very important, because if you don't watch out for that, you can get crowd controlled. Especially once they change the flash first skill, he can be interrupted on the way of charging and coming back when he uses the first skill. So he can be interrupted both way. So you have to be careful with him using his first skill. Now Sephora, I really like this hero, even when I was playing KOG, and this hero has just outstanding damage. If your team fight style is just drag the fight and then just keep the fight as long as possible, she's going to put out a lot of damage in that kind of team fight, just because her skills are short cooldown and she has the ultimate to protect herself from dangerous situation. But one bad thing about her is she can't really clear the wave She's a lane bully. You can use your range. You can use your first skill to outrange your opponent, but you can't really. It's just hard for her to clear the wave because she doesn't have an effective AOE skill to clear the wave down, like Toulon does. And then she's quite a good carry in late game. Once you have your pro build, the damage from your Apocalypse is going to do a lot of damage. And then we have Kali here. This was one of my favorite hero to use in Valor series because she has a great wave clear. She doesn't need any intense micro, mechanics. She doesn't need that intense outplay thing. So you only have to have decision making skills in order to play her very, very well. She has great wave clear. That makes her a great hero to pick when you want someone to defend the waves, especially when you're behind. And at the same time, I think Kali is very strong when you pair her with a tanky support like Mina, someone with crowd control skills in his kit. Like let's say Mina Ibaneth is very strong as well. She can just stay back and do her damage with her passive and with her with her whole skill kits. And then you have Illumia. I really like this hero as well. She has great crowd control ability, especially after they buffed her first skill. She can slow people on the way of using that empowered first skill, and then she can stun people with the end of the path explosion from her first skill. So and then you can do a full combo onto someone without Gilda Greaves, which means they don't have any resistance. So they're going to take the full crowd control duration from your skills. She can just do like a 6 seconds or 4 to 6 seconds crowd control stun combo onto someone that makes her super powerful in crowd controlling of your opponent, gives your teammate a lot of time to react in a team fight. She can have such a huge impact with her ultimate, but her ultimate in early game is very, very long cooldown, which is going to sometimes it just you want shorter cooldown on her ultimate. You have to use your ultimate very effectively in order for it to work. And then you have Natalia. Natalia, I think she's quite underrated just because she can do insane amount of burst damage with her passive, with her whole skill kits. She can solo kill your enemy mid laner. I say 90% of the time if you can aim your skill shots right. If you can hit all your skill shots, you can just solo kill them. And she has a better than average wave clear that gives her a good rotation speed, a good rotation. That makes her rotate faster than the enemy mid laner. And then now we have the Elsu, the only marksman in my tier list compared with all the other mage heroes. Now, Elsu has a good wave clear. He can snipe the whole wave before 5 minutes, before the cannon minion spawns. He can snipe the whole wave with 2 snipes with its second skill twice. So you can just clear the wave and then go into the side lane. He has good poke with his second skill. He has a good escape from his ultimate, but he relies on his ultimate and the flicker to run away from a team fight. He's quite squishy against the assassin dive, and he provides a good vision control from his mind, from his first skill. But in lane, you're countered by Phoenix Tier. In the current Arena Valor patch, the Phoenix Tier has the ability power on it, which means that almost every mage in this game are going to build Phoenix Tier. Doesn't matter whether they're gonna build this further into an AoV Mage later in the game. They're most of the time, 99% of the time, they're always going to build this item, no matter what. Why is Elsu countered by this? Just because Elsu doesn't have any self-regeneration method in lane, unless you're other than your spell, which is gonna give you 10%, 15% of health back, or the health pack behind your tower. The Phoenix Tier provides the self-regeneration method that doesn't fit on Elsu. So if you get poked out in lane, you are forced to go back to your base to get full HP. And during that time, the enemy mid laner can make a play on your team that you can't help with. So that's why I think Elsu is countered by that item quite a lot, just because the self-regeneration, the 20% HP and mana you're going to get back from the Phoenix Tier that Elsu cannot use. So then Now we're gonna jump into the B tier. Now we have our B tier list over here. The first one being Darcy. I still rank them in their particular order. I think Darcy is the best hero in the B tier, obviously, but he is very powerful, overpowered in jungle role, just because he can build that jungle item with the AP, with the ability power. This item similar to Apocalypse. I just can't. Loki's Curse, I think that's the name of it. Once Darcy has Apocalypse and Loki's Curse, he can do the same amount of damage from his first skill, but he's just not as effective as a mid laner, because you can't build Loki's Curse in when you play him as a mid lane, because you're not going to take Punish as your summoner spell, as your spell, and he has good wave clear, but his whole kit isn't just, it's just not that powerful. His bomb is very easily dodged by a mid laner if you're not against a noob in that case, and he just doesn't provide that much of sustainable damage. And one more thing about Darcy is when the enemy support plays Chaknar, that means your ultimate is pretty much going to be useless, because Chaknar ultimate counters Darcy's ultimate. Your ultimate will not do anything once you're against a Chaknar, when the Chaknar uses his ultimate to get rid of the effect. And then we have a Jinnar over here. Jinnar, I think, is a lane bully. The reason being that Jinnar can just go into, can just auto attack the lane, the wave. At the same time, he can use his first skill to poke the enemy from the wave if they get close to the wave. And even, I think during the last patch, they nerfed Jinnar's passive. His passive can no longer do critical damage, but that doesn't really change his damage, his insane amount of damage he can do to the enemy backline. He can dive onto the ADC, similar to what Flash can do, but he can be more tanky than Flash, and he can do insane amount of damage if he uses ultimate on a bunch of enemies that is like grouped up. So he's still good, he can still be played, just not as often as he used to be. And then we have Crixie. I think Crixie is very, very balanced. She can do everything with her skill kits. Her passive allows her to run away or to go into a team fight very easily. She can outrange most of the mage with her first skill. But I remember there was a very, very big nerf to Crixie's damage to make her damage not very noticeable, so that she can't really solo kill anyone. So when you play Crixie, especially when enemy build Gilda Greaves, when they have that extra magic resist, Crixie just can't do enough damage to solo kill someone in lane. But she's still very good pick. She can play defensively with she can still clear the wave with her first skill very safely in lane, and rotate with her teammate to do the side lane pressure, to gank and do the stuff. She's very strong in that perspective, but she does just need that little damage buff to make her A tier, even S tier in the current patch, in the current situation. And then we have Alistair. This hero is quite interesting with his ultimate, because his ultimate cannot be purified. They buffed it in one of the patch before, and he has a mediocre or better than average wave clear. But the thing is, you get bullied in lane a lot when you use your skills in lane to clear the wave, unless you're playing a dual lane in mid. By that I mean, unless your support helps you clear the wave and get the side bush vision for you, otherwise you're going to have a hard time to clear the wave, because if you use your second skill onto the wave, the enemy mid laner mage hero can just poke you out from the lane, and in that case you have to go back to the base, and then instead of rotating his side lanes. And he needs his teammate to actually use the ult, because he during his ultimate he needs protection, or so that the enemy assassin can't jump onto him. So you want to rotate with your teammate together in order for yourself to be useful. And then we have Diao Chan here. She's a very good, interesting hero. She is very effective to be used in lower ranked games, lower ranks, just because people don't know how to deal with her crowd control from her freezing abilities. Once you hit two abilities from her, she can root someone in place for 5 seconds or 3 seconds, that is very effective in lower ranked. But once you build Gilda Greaves, once she doesn't do that much long duration of CC, she just not really effective anymore, and she pretty much no one pick her in high rank games like Conquer rank. So, and then we have Gilda here. I think he's very underrated. He can do very good poke damage, and he can be very tanky in nature. There was one patch they buffed his auto attacks from his passive. His passive is going to give him a shield, and he can get a lot of shield like just in nature from his skill kits now. And then in late game he can do insane amount of passive from his passive damage. And then when you build Apocalypse, the passive damage is going to add up to the Apocalypse, and you can just do. I've seen people one-shot tower or one-shot base with Gilda building Apocalypse on him. I think he's very underrated. People can still discover about this hero, you know. And then now we're gonna go into the F tier. So now we're in F tier. The first guy being the first hero being Ignis. It was just 2 patches before he was very overpowered hero, just because they buffed him really hard. They reworked Ignis to the point where he is a must pick or ban during that period, and ever since that they nerfed his damage, nerfed his stun duration on his second skill. They nerfed big time. They nerfed his first skill damage big time. So which means he has to hit more skill shots in order to do the same amount of damage that he was able to do before, which makes him just his damage just seems to be lacking quite a lot in the current patch. He relies a lot on his ultimate right now to do that true damage. Other than that, he just and his combo isn't as great as before. You can't really stun someone like constantly with your second skill anymore. That people can run away from, can run outside of your the Rain of Fire now. So after nerf, so it's just harder to combo. So which is why I think people just stop picking him. He's just not a good mage anymore, and his range is really bad too. So and then we have Prater. Prater has a pretty good wave clear, but you need help with your river vision once you if you're playing against an enemy jungler, say Quickneck Assassin, Quickneck Xenca. If you get jumped down, it's almost guaranteed you're gonna be dead unless you have flicker, unless you have, or if you're lucky with your ultimate, you can pop your ultimate to get that shield. He's just really squishy, and the reason I put him in the F tier is because other mage, say Toulon, can do the same amount of damage without charging his skills, but Prater needs that 3 seconds charging on his first skill to actually do damage, and it's pretty easy for people to dodge our first skill once they see the charging animation from Prater. So and then we have Laurie here. So the current patch, she's still a good mage, but she's only good against tanks that don't do insane amount of burst damage or sustainable damage to her, because in the current patch all the marksmen are super strong. They're just super strong. Once they get farmed, they can do insane amount of damage, which makes Laurie really bad because she has to go into the team fight, go into the enemy's face, and then do her flashy second skill dash back and forth play, which gives them gives the enemy marksman a great chance, great time to just attack you down, to shoot you down. So she can be good if you like a one-trick Laurie. If you have 1,000 game of Laurie play, she can just dodge people's attack with second skill. Otherwise, she doesn't really fit into the current meta. And then we have Maganga here. Maganga is a really good lane bully, but one thing is she needs a tank in the front line to tank on the damage for him, and he can heal up the tank and be effective afterwards. Survivability is a problem for the Maganga. You have to, if you want to play him, you have to build him tanky in order for yourself to live through a team fight, to live through the burst from the enemy assassins, and therefore afterwards you can start doing damage. And then you have Yura. I think Yura is a very good traditional mage. The idea of Yura's skill kits, it's pretty good. But the thing is, she needs some damage buff in order to make her a A tier mage or even S tier mage. I like her skill kits. I think she can do quite well when she has the priority over rotation. She can rotate to side lane first, and she can just play with her teammate and then get kills with her stun, with her ultimate and first skill. And then we have Xenca. Let's not talk about it. His skill shots is just too easy to dodge in the current patch. If you just play Toulon into Xenca and then dodge Xenca's second skill from the wave, it pretty much guarantees Xenca is going to use his second skill onto the wave to clear the wave. And just dodge that. If you can dodge everything with Toulon against Xenca. So, which is why I think Xenca is the worst mage right now. So there goes my tier list for all the mage hero. I know it's quite a long video for you guys. So there you go. There goes my ranking of the current patch of all the mage hero in the current patch. I hope it helped you with your mage pick, your mid lane pick in your ranking, and I hope you have enjoyed this video, watching this long video, and you have learned a couple of things about these picks. So please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more awesome videos just like this one, and thank you for watching again, and have a nice day.